All right, so I'm doing the potassium nitrate solubility curve lab. Right now what I have is 4 test tubes. This is test tube number 1, 2, 3, 4. And as per the instructions, I'm gonna add the appropriate amount of mass to each of them. So what I have here is my weighing paper. I'm gonna turn on my balance. Zero the mass of my paper and measure out 2 grams for my first test tube. Potassium nitrate is an ionic compound. It is a salt and it is a white powdery substance like you would expect. So let's see. So there's 0.68, 1.59. I'm aiming for exactly 2. Now I got 2.01 grams. That's pretty good, so we'll record that in our answer sheet. Now I've massed out the second one. I have 4 grams exactly going into test tube 2. I have 6.02 grams going into test tube number 3. Ooh, hold on. Yep, 6.02. And into the fourth one goes 8.00 grams. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is take my graduated cylinder. I have a 10 milliliter graduated cylinder, and I'm going to add 5 milliliters of water to each of my test tubes. So if you remember, we're going to end up reading the meniscus on our graduated cylinder. I can't show you very well at this angle, but here I go. I'm going to add 5 to the first. Five to the second. Five to the third. And 5 to the last. And then I'll show you what these look like. So if you take a look, we have samples 1 through 3. 1 is dissolving the most on the right-hand side. 4 the least because it has the most amount of solute. We have saturated solutions because our solute is gathering at the bottom. And as much as dissolved into that 5 grams as possible, what I'm now gonna do is add it to the hot water bath right there and dissolve that solute by increasing the temperature. Now here's what I'm gonna do with each of the 4 samples. Here I have sample number 4. You're gonna see that all of that solute has actually dissolved into solution. We have a completely clear solution. I've warmed the thermometer up with the solution. It's currently at 86 degrees Celsius, that is. And I'm gonna stir it until I have solute forming at the bottom of our container, and I can already see it. That was at about 84 degrees Celsius. If you look in the bottom, let's see, can I show this one? There is solid solute forming, and the more and more I stir, you can see that solute falling out of solution. This is what I'm talking about when I say on table G. If we cool our solution, it starts to precipitate. So all that solute that was dissolved is now falling out of solution. It happened really quick for this one because it was very, very close to its saturation point. All right, I'm gonna show you with one more sample what's happening here. So this is sample number 3. If we take a look, it's perfectly clear right now, and I'm heating the thermometer in the solution so that it starts at the same temperature. I'm gonna dip it back in my hot water bath and just make sure that we are starting at a high temperature, completely dissolved. And I am starting at 85 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to stir until I see solute forming, and I will record that temperature of crystallization. So what's happening is as our solution cools down, it holds less and less solute in solution. As we've seen with table G and talked about in class, temperature for solid solutes like potassium nitrate increase with increasing temperature. Right now we're going the other way just because it's a little bit easier to find that point of saturation when we're cooling off our solution. That way we don't have to be looking through the hot water bath and through the test tube, looking for when that last crystal dissolves. Oh, and there we go. There's my solid forming. You can see those little particles. It looks maybe cloudy on camera, but that is actually all solid solute that's gathering at the bottom. And if I dip this into cold water, which I'm gonna do, we're really gonna see a formation of solid. Now, if I wanna get this out of my test tube, because now if we look, I could redissolve this just by heating it up.